Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of FTWGT Weekly. It's your boy, Lenny, and it has been 2 weeks since Dante has met somebody on eHarmony, traveled down to Texas, and can you tell us, Dante, is it in fact everything bigger in Texas?
eHarmony. Is that even still a thing?
Yes. Yes. In the litany of dating apps, it's the one with the most questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. eHarmony. I would have been more of a Match.com guy, or maybe Christian Mingles.
I'm Jewish meats.
How black people meet.
They're always kosher.
Is that still one?
So you didn't answer the question.
Oh, yeah. I recently returned from the Lone Star State.
Is it bigger?
To say everything's bigger in Texas might be a stretch, but there's a lot of things that huh?
Nothing.
You know what? Moving on.
All right. No, but tell us about Texas. I'm kidding.
Nah, it was cool. I mean, a lot of good food out there. Like, a lot of good food. I love Mexican food, and there was like a taqueria at like every corner. I was in heaven.
The first thing you talk about when you come back from any vacation is the food? And this might not just be a you thing. Is that like the most common thing people bring up when they come back from a vacation?
I mean, when you go to a place that's in a way known for food, I guess, like, you know, if you go to Italy, you're going to talk about like the pasta and the pizza or whatever, right? Like,
I actually don't think people, personally, I don't think me or you would like the pizza in Italy.
No?
I think it's all Neapolitan. You a Neapolitan guy?
The strawberry chocolate and vanilla?
No. You know the pizzas I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea, actually.
Look up a Neapolitan pizza real quick. I know what you know what it looks like. It's the one with like, it's more like, it's a lot of like sauce and like the cheese looks more splotchy on it.
Oh, I see. Like this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, or the first one you clicked, I think is like the one below it there. Yeah.
This one, yeah. Okay. Where it almost looks like a cheese soup inside of a crust?
Yeah, like so it's very light. And it's not like, I like my crust firm. I like a crisp crust on my, and I don't think that they're generally very crisp.
So, funny enough, I actually had an Italian-style pizza at a place down there in Texas. And
did you? More food?
Yeah, more food. And it was fucking bomb.
Was it?
Yeah.
So there's Italians in Texas. They haven't cut that wall off yet.
I don't know if I was in a very migrant area of Texas, but it wasn't very yeehaw where I was. Let's put it that way.
I was questioning why you didn't come in with cowboy boots on.
Honestly, because we looked at them and they are more expensive than you would think.
No, oddly enough, I had a friend in high school who would just jump trends like it was a fucking the Olympics in 1996 in the high jump.
Okay. I see you're stretching for a metaphor here.
He would jump trends like it was hopscotch in the playground.
Okay.
So in one time he came back from Texas and he strolls into the bar and you just hear this motherfucker click clacking along, walks in cowboy boots.
Did he have spurs on him too?
He very well fucking might have, dude. This guy, dude, he would just he was straight edge once.
Oh god.
He would just jump on top of everything, but yeah, literally everything. And he came back with cowboy boots once. It was the most absurd shit I've ever seen. So I'm fairly aware of the price of them.
Yeah, nah. So I wasn't really into the whole cowboy boots thing, especially for like wearing it just one time. I did really want a cowboy hat.
Did you wear them when you were there?
No.
Okay, you didn't try them on?
No. I didn't even try them on.
You would look fucking crazy in cowboy boots.
People
like us aren't meant to wear cowboy boots, Dante, because we would look so fucking uneven, dude. Because I think it makes our legs look too skinny. So then we just look like we're gonna fall over at all times.
So we just look like an upside down bowling pin.
Yeah, exactly. Dead ass. And then we don't need to be drawing more attention when we walk. So that click clacking ain't gonna do us any goddamn favors.
But I'll tell you, I did want a cowboy hat. Those are pretty pricey too. Like the cheap, like affordable ones, they were almost like plasticky, and I was like, damn, come on, I want an authentic Texas cowboy hat. But then, you know, you find the authentic ones and you're paying like $150 plus.
I think you had to, like, if you were going to do this trip proper, you either had to come back with cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, or a 6-shooter.
Well, I don't have a license to carry, so I don't think I could just fly back with a gun, but yeah, sure.
You should have got a place in Texas, dude, and just kept them there.
Honestly, it's cheap enough out there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was the price a lot better?
I did start looking like as we were like driving by places, and I'd be like, oh damn, that looks nice. I wonder how much it is to live there, and I'd be like, oh damn, that's cheap.
Yeah, I think like anywhere that's not like the East Coast, like Boston or like West Coast California, it seems affordable to us.
Yeah, I mean this is like one of like the top 5 most expensive states to live in. So
Can you pull up that list real quick? Top 5 most expensive states: Boston, New York, California.
I'll go by cities. Top 10 most expensive cities, and I bet you Boston's in there.
Boston, New York, multiple states in California. You have to figure like L.A., San Fran, right? Where else? Anywhere in like like Philadelphia? No, Philly seems like it's a broke place.
Looks like number one is San Diego.
L.A. Oh, I knew Hawaii. Hawaii in general.
So San Diego, L.A., Honolulu, Miami, Santa Barbara, San Francisco. Damn, I thought, okay, they're all California.
Yeah, you didn't think that was going to be the case?
I definitely thought Boston would be up there. Damn, how low are we? New York City is number 11. Boston's number 12.
San Juan, Puerto Rico beats us.
That's insane. I actually scrolled past that one. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I erased.
That's insane. What? I'm not... Bro. That's insane. Because they're like third world country, basically.
I mean, California is fucking crazy, bro. Well, but even like Hawaii, like I said, it's all like Hawaii's very expensive from a tourist perspective. But like the people who live there live in like the broke parts. It's kind of like any of the vacation places, right?
Yo, bro, of the top 10, California is 7 of them.
Yeah. Good luck to the people who live out there, bro.
That's insane.
Makes you feel better about our situation, doesn't it?
No, not really. It still sucks, but at least I'm not in Cali, right?
Anything else come up good from the trip?
Honestly, so like everything's so much different down there. Well, I can't even say so much different, but like there's a few things that it's like, holy shit, they got this down here. And one thing I really notice is how their bars are set up are a lot different than out here.
They have saloon doors.
No, they don't have saloon doors. But like you just realize you get to do more when, you know, you're not in an area full of a bunch of people that turn into assholes when they get drunk. Like Boston, we can't have fun shit at our bars because everybody gets turns into an asshole when they get drunk. But out there, they have like a bunch of places they call like socials, where it's like, you know, there's a bar there, but then there's a bunch of other stuff you could do. You know, there's like the mechanical bulls, bowling, fucking arcade machines, darts, like all in one place. Like it's almost like they set up like a little like neighborhood within the bar. It's pretty cool.
Are the bars just bigger because it's Texas?
I mean, they're all pretty sizable, but yeah, there's some hole in the walls too.
Okay.
I went to a club over there that was literally like it might have been a garage at one point, but it was cool.
What part of Texas was it again?
I was in Dallas.
Oh, Dallas, Fort Worth. Nice airport.
Yeah. Yo, honestly, that was my first impression of everything's bigger in Texas.
The airport's huge.
We touched down on the runway, and I feel like we were rolling for like 10 minutes, and I was like, how fucking long is this runway?
Weirdly enough, that's one of like probably like 7 airports I've ever been to, and I only did a layover there. I haven't actually been to like Dallas. I was on my way to California.
Yeah.
And I feel like because they have like a tram that brings you through the whole airport. Am I right?
I didn't get on any tram.
I feel like there was a tram. I might be wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I didn't see or get on one.
Yeah. That was my only like remembrance. Is like, yeah, it was a very big airport. It was a very nice airport too.
Yeah, it was.
Do you think Logan's a nice airport?
I don't think it's bad. Why do you think it's bad?
I didn't say it was bad. It was a question.
No, there was some implications in your voice.
No, I mean, I haven't been to enough airports to say like they all feel kind of similar to me in the airports that I've been to.
I mean, I haven't been to a huge, diverse amount of airports, so like, yeah, they all feel similar to me too.
Yeah, I don't know if I've also been inside of any airports because you know how people have like really long layovers or their flights get delayed or whatever it is.
You don't leave the gate.
Like the people like see a lot more of it. Like, I feel like the times I've had like connecting flights, I've had to like run from one flight to the next, which is a stupid premise because if it's a fucking connecting flight, like
they should know, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Isn't that crazy that like your flight's on the other side of the airport and you get off the plane and you just have to fucking book it?
I mean, a few months back when I went to New Orleans, we had a connecting flight on the way back, and our first flight on the way back was delayed, but they delayed the second flight to wait for us.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's polite of them just for you.
I don't think it was just for me. I'm nobody. But the other cool thing too is the gates were literally right next to each other. Like, I don't remember the gate number, but let's say it was like we landed at E7 and we boarded at E8. Like, it was crazy.
Oh, so you literally just hopped off the plane and moved to the next one over?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's simple.
But I just remember like the flight attendants being like, "All right, right over here for anybody connecting, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
They knew you were coming.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Anything else?
No, I went to a rodeo actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah. That was
Were
on the
they-
Texas bucket list.
Were they roping the bulls or were they just riding them?
They kind of did a little of everything. So
were there clowns?
No, there were no clowns.
Did anybody get gored?
No, nobody got jacked up actually. But like they did a lot of different stuff. Like, you know, like they rode like the wild horses and stuff and were bucking on them. They did like barrel races where they do like a race like looping around the barrels and stuff.
By the way,
huh?
When they call them Broncos, fucking Broncos.
Bro, I was only in Texas for 2 weeks. I ain't a native and nothing. I don't know.
If you're a car guy, dude, I feel like you would know this.
So, cause I'm a car guy, I have to know
What's the truck?
the Ford Bronco. Yeah,
Oh,
no, I
okay.
get what you're getting at. Come
No,
on,
sure.
like, but like, it's not like I go and then look into what a Bronco is because of the SUV named after it. Like,
Okay,
what the hell
so
is a Tacoma?
You said they were it's taco. You said that they were running on barrels.
No, so they were riding horses, doing like timed races, looping around barrels and stuff.
Really?
They were roping the cattle too, so they would do like the thing where they like either like tackle them, wrestle them down, or they'd have to do like the thing where they tackle them and then like flip them over and wrap their feet. Yeah. Like that stuff was crazy.
I feel like that would be an experience where the people are generally very friendly. Like everybody's like super excited and just nice to be around.
Honestly, I don't think I ever had like an unpleasant experience around anybody down there. Everybody was super friendly.
That's another thing when you get away from like the East Coast that I've found is that like it is just a thing where people are just generally friendlier than they are here.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you go to Florida, the people are all super fucking nice. Like when I've been to like South Carolina, or like Nashville, like all the people there were very nice. California, like
all right,
people.
so they were nice to you. I actually had a bad experience in South Carolina.
Yeah, maybe a little different for you. Depends on the side of the Mason-Dixon line you
Say,
end
what
up
you
on.
doing around these parts, boy? Say, oh shit.
But even when I went to like California, like I just remember, and this was like fucking 15 years ago now, but like I remember people being very like polite, like they hear your accent and they know immediately where you're from, and are all very like, you know, just they'll social to strangers, which I feel like you especially don't get up here.
Yeah.
I do think it's weird though, because I think generally from an outside perspective, like I'm sure people in Texas are very nice, but I do think like politically I probably don't align with everything with them, so I would just assume that I would find people that I didn't enjoy as much. But
yeah, I think like the government wise or whatever, I probably wouldn't mesh as well there. But like as far as like the people that live there, everybody was super nice. But like it's crazy because like you could tell there's definitely parts that like, oh shit, probably shouldn't go there. Like, you know what I mean? And then the other crazy thing too is like they have churches on like every corner. Like there were churches in like little like what do you call them, like plazas, I guess, right? Like
we have that here now, dude. Like there's places in Brockton that like you can drive by that used to be like a small convenience store that's a fucking small church now.
Yeah. I just think it's a lot more noticeable out there.
Well, because they like, but they also have like the super churches there too, don't they?
Yeah, there's a lot of big churches out there too, but there's also a lot of those like small, like look like they used to be a convenience store churches.
Yeah.
Like there was like a strip where like it was like grocery store, laundromat, church.
I always think about like, so like there's a place in my town here that it's in the neighborhood I used to grow up in, and like you know how small my town is. So,
Yeah.
so to say it's in like the neighborhood I grow up, it's like a minute and a half from my house right now. Like it's a 10-minute walk.
Damn.
And the front of the place is the post office, and then there's like a resold furniture store, and then it's a pet store. And on the back side of the building when I was growing up, it used to be a can redemption.
Oh?
It is now a church.
I don't know. That's just insane to me.
Whenever I drive by places like that, dude, I'm like, I can't imagine, like, I'm not a religious person, but I can't imagine if I was. I think it would be really hard for me to observe in, like, a place like that as opposed to, like, your traditional, like, walk into a church, there's pews and, like, all this stuff, you know?
Yeah, I guess I didn't go inside any of them to see what the atmosphere was like.
No, but I just assume, I guess, because I've never been in them either.
Yeah, but, like, even, like, the gift shops, like, there was a ton of, like, Jesus loves you, I am God's child, like, this kind of stuff. And I was like, damn, like, they are aggressively religious down here.
Yeah, I think that's also a thing that's not, if you're not in either one of the coasts, you're far more religious.
Well, I know Texas is, like, a big religious state, too, though.
Yeah, it's God and guns.
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why, like, well, I guess I have some assumptions, but like I guess I don't know why it's like that. But yeah, or why it's so. It's not like people aren't religious here either. Like there's definitely people like that.
I just think it's not as in your face here.
As far as the people are concerned, I think that's another thing with like the internet where like it's so easy to conflict with people on the internet because you either see like you just see the worst of people or like you just get very small blips of their opinion when like in regular day-to-day life you don't generally have people like imposing their beliefs or anything on you, you know? Like they generally like most people just talk to you like you're a normal person and have normal conversations. It's just online where it's always in reaction to something and it could be political, it could be religious, it could be anything. And like you just determine that like, okay, like I probably won't work with people in Texas because like they believe in this, this, and this. And you have this like very segmented belief about what they're into. As opposed to like actually being there. And you're like, oh, you're just like a nice, normal, polite person. And like, why do I give a shit about what your like political beliefs are or something, you know? I feel like that's what it was like, what it felt like politics and stuff were when I was younger, like when I was a kid. Like, I feel like it wasn't like this distinct line necessarily between like, oh, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you believe in gun control, you don't. Like, now it feels like because of the way like social media does stuff, there's like this like line in your head about the places you would go and how you would feel about the people that are there just from the images that get put out, you know?
Yeah, just from like the way the internet portrays it.
Yeah, exactly. And like the way people portray themselves on the internet, right? Because it's just a lot easier to like let your opinions fly.
There's no consequences on the internet.
Yeah, no repercussion, no fear of like, okay, like I could say like, fuck everyone in Texas. They're all pieces of shit. You can clip that. And like I could say that on the internet without any fear of ever coming across somebody in Texas, you know, or I could be like everybody in the South's fucking hicks and they're idiots. And like, you know, it's just like there's not going to be anything that ever comes to it. But you would never go to those places and be anything but cordial.
There's actually one other Texas experience I got to tell you about.
Okay.
I had a fairly authentic Waffle House experience.
Oh, sick. Okay, what time of night?
So we actually didn't go at night. We went in the morning for
Not
breakfast.
Authentic, then.
And no, I definitely saw, like, we drove by it and it's a lot crazier at night. But even during the day, it's pretty wild in there. And, like, we walked in and, like, just your typical, like, they're not super hospitable, but they're hospitable at the same time. Like, we walk in, the waitress is just like, over there in the corner. I'm like, oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. But she's busy, dude. She got shit to do.
Yo, so our waitress was what made it authentic. She, first off, was my first experience down there with a Southern accent.
So like you've been to like the South, like here versus like there, right? Versus like Southern accents. How different does it feel?
What do you mean?
Like a South Carolina accent to like a Texas accent. Do they feel the same to you?
They feel similar. What I will say is like it's much like when people come to Boston and they expect to hear a Boston accent everywhere, and not everybody has that accent, right? Mm-hmm. It's only really certain areas or certain people, whatever.
I don't know. I've never like grew up in Boston, but like if I'm around people that like my R's are all very like fucking Boston.
Yeah, sure.
They're all hard, but I promise they're not.
I mean, like I slip the accent here and there every once in a while, but like, down there it's like maybe one in every like 30 people, at least for my experience, right? And so like this waitress at Waffle House, not only did she have a very thick Southern accent, but God bless her, I loved her. I think she was a crackhead. So she was like, doing like the talking really fast, like grinding her teeth, kind of mumbling, muttering under her breath. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? So like it was very interesting experience. And then also on top of that, like she just was giving us a ton of free shit.
Really? Like
So
bacon? What are we talking?
Well, so we ordered, right? And after we ordered, maybe like 5 minutes in, I'm like, fuck, I'm at Waffle House. I didn't order waffles. So I like, raised my hand like, hey, excuse me. I'm sorry. Can we put in a couple orders of waffles? She's like, oh, no, don't worry. I got you. You get you like 3 extras. I was like, okay.
Did you get chicken and waffle? What did you get?
I didn't get chicken and waffles. I just got a standard like like bacon, eggs, toast, blah blah blah, and then the waffles. At the end of it too, like she's like, oh yeah, I comped your drinks, I comped one of your meals, and you look like one of y'all had somebody in the military. And one of our friends is like, oh yeah, I have a cat in the military. She's like, all right, cool, military discount. I was like, what the fuck? So there was like 4 of us, and we get up to pay, and it was like $35, and I was like, nah, this doesn't sound right.
Do you think she's angling for a better tip so she can get more money for crack?
I 100% believe that's what it was. Yeah. Because I mean, we definitely tipped her heavy. It was just like, yo, this is way cheaper than it was supposed to be.
I was at work yesterday, and some guy walks up to me, and he's like, he is wearing like baggy jeans, hood like a hoodie with the hoodie on. Walks up to me, face tattoos all over his hands, and he's like, "Can I talk to a manager?" And I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, do you have a phone that dials out, and can I use it in private?
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, I got you, dude.
Would you just hand me a cell phone?
No, so I walked over to like one of the phones we have in the store, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, dude, like, what's the phone number? I'll dial it for you, because like this, like we have to dial out, like it's not like a just dial the number. And
he didn't even want to give you the number,
bro. I was staring at him, and he's just not saying anything, and he's like. And I'm like, all right, man. Like, and he's off. This dude's a little off, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, like, what's the number? And he's like, he puts the phone to his ear, and he just goes, dial tone, hold, sapphire, retribution. And I'm like, what? Dude?
What? Was this dude like a sleeper agent trying to activate? Like,
and then he just goes, what time's the movie? And I'm like,
nah.
I'm like, I don't have any movies, man.
Nah.
What's the phone number? And dude, he snaps out of it and just starts talking to me normal.
No. No.
He gives me the phone number, and I just walk away because I'm like, I was worried he's gonna fucking kill me, dude. Like,
yo, that would have fucked me up.
So I walk away, bro, and I just leave him be. And I watch him. He walks over to the like counter that I'm at. He stands behind one of the counters like awkwardly for a second. So I grab something like, hey, can you pull up cameras? I just want to see like what this guy did. Like, 'cause I didn't see him leave. I don't know if he took anything, whatever. And we're watching him on camera after I leave, from dialing the phone number for him, bro. And he must not have had anybody answer, because he hangs up and then he dials on the phone like 4 times, and he doesn't know how to dial the number.
Yeah, exactly.
But he dials, he sits there, and at one point he doesn't dial anything, and he just sits there with the phone up to his ear. He's just like chilling, and I'm just watching him on camera, and then he gets up and like walks around. He's picking up price tags and like putting them different places, and like it was just a fucking weird crackhead experience for me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very different crackhead experience for you.
Yeah.
Mine was a positive one.
Yeah, no, mine was my guy was just a fucking weirdo. It was just so crazy how he like did that whole rant when the phone was up to his ear, which made no sense whatsoever. Like he was just speaking words that like didn't go in like any consistent pattern, and then he just snapped out of it and read the number to me perfectly.
Like I didn't even tell you all of my crackhead experience. Like there was a point where she was talking about like she's going through a divorce and she wants to kill her husband, and like she was like, this morning I left a bullet on his pillow next to his head
What
and
the
let him know
fuck?
he's either going to leave in cuffs or a body bag. I was like, okay, all right, cool. I'm an accomplice. If anybody asks me, you didn't say shit.
Yeah, and it's like you could just leave him. You don't need to like.
She was like started talking about her daughter, and she just starts like speed scrolling through her daughter's TikTok. Like, yeah, this is my daughter. Look. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Is there TikTok popping off?
I don't even know. She was scrolling through that fast. Like,
No.
I had no idea what was going on.
You didn't see how many followers.
No, I didn't.
Damn. I would have just been interested if it like the crackhead's daughter has like 100,000 followers on TikTok or something. She's doing like the Barbie dance.
Yeah. Oh God.
Sounds like you had a good time though.
No, it was a good time. It was a
Yeah.
great time.
All right. Well, now that we've got through the pleasantries and your time in Texas, what the fuck? On vacay from your job. For 2 weeks, mind you, paid.
Hold on, I'm supposed to be getting paid here?
Yeah. You are paid.
I take my payment in Canada Dries from your fridge.
Yeah, let's get into some movies, man. We've got a lot to talk about. I've seen a lot of movies. You've seen very little, but we'll talk first about the ones that you have seen. You want to start with Gran Turismo?
Fuck yeah.
This was your most anticipated movie of the summer?
Yes.
This and Mexican Black Panther, right? Those were the two?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk Gran Turismo. We saw this, funny enough, it just came out last Thursday. We saw this movie
On the 9th.
Yeah, so we
like,
saw it like 2.5,
almost
3
3
weeks
weeks ago,
ago. Yeah. So it's been a little while. What do you recall? What was your feelings coming out of it?
Damn. So like my memory's trash.
It is.
I do remember enjoying the movie, but I also remember being left feeling like it wasn't everything I expected it to be.
But you thought like this was gonna be just like them in cars racing the whole entire time, which I very much
No, I
knew
definitely
it wasn't.
didn't think it was gonna be like racing the whole entire time. But I just feel like at certain points it felt a little cheesy. Like the overuse of them doing like the whole CGI car around him every time he's in a fucking like racing scene of some sort. That definitely got really annoying. Overall I did enjoy the acting and I enjoyed the story. There was just, a few little things like that kind of bothered me. I also feel like a lot of the racing, like they were doing a lot of like quick cuts and I didn't really get to enjoy it the same way I thought I would.
So I think this is the benefit of going into things with like minimal expectation for me, where I came away actually thinking I pretty much enjoyed it. Like I didn't have any real negatives to say about it. I thought Hopper was great. I
love that we're calling him Hopper. That's not even his real name.
What's his real name? Dante.
Fuck.
If you can't, don't know. If you don't know it, you don't have to find out.
No, I'm gonna fuck around.
It's
and
David
find out.
something.
All right. Well,
You're bad at this.
I am bad at this.
Anywho, David Tenner? No, David Harbour. David Harbour.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopper did a great job in this movie. I liked the lead too, for that matter. I thought he was very good as well. Overall, like I do agree, like, built the CGI car going around him while he's playing a video game and stuff is a bit cheesy, but I understand what they're doing there. Like, that's how immersed he is in the game, is what they're trying to show you.
And I get that's what they're trying to show, but like, do it once.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what, they probably did it 3 times?
I feel like they did it every time he hopped behind the fucking wheel of like the sim rig.
So you just thought the CGI stuff was cheesy. Did you think the story was cheesy?
No, I overall enjoyed the story, and I love the accuracy of the story too. Like, it all played out to like the real life events.
I think the only like like the regular like notes that they have to hit that I didn't necessarily love is like, okay, like he has 8 races to finish in 4th place or higher, and they wait till the last race for him to do it. And that very well might have been how it happened in real life. I don't know.
I don't actually know either.
But it just was it takes away any suspense, I think, while you're watching the movie. He's going through some of these races, and you kind of know what's going to happen. But the one positive that they throw in there is that he gets in the accident. And I
that's a positive.
Yeah, like as far as building tension in the movie,
yeah,
I thought that was a very good part of the movie. I thought the accident was a good movie accident. It reminded me of the one in Rush, I think is the movie. The
I'm not familiar with the movie.
The Chris Hemsworth. So if you like racing movies and you ain't watched Rush, you got an issue, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Chris Hemsworth and Michael Fassbender maybe is the other one. Or no, it's not Fassbender. It's who's the other guy?
Daniel Bro.
Maybe. No, not the old guy. The younger guy.
I don't.
There's two people on the cover. Am I right?
Yes, there is, but there's no names on the cover.
Yeah, so whoever that guy is on the right. Either way, doesn't matter. There is names on the cover. They're literally right up before it says Rush.
Daniel Bro.
But then on the thing you showed, you just had for IMDb, that was the old guy, right?
No. Hold on. It was.
Mind you, okay. No, you're right. I could only see I couldn't see that side of the list. Mind you, people, I'm looking at a very small icon of a person from fairly far away.
From like 15 feet away. Yeah.
Not 15 feet. This one's not 15 feet. 6 feet, probably.
Hey, I was trying to give the illusion that we were in a bigger studio here.
Yeah, I think overall, it was a movie that I thought was good, but I think it's just another movie that's come out this summer, and I think this has been the biggest detriment to a lot of this summer to me as far as the movies that are released, is that it's just, and we'll talk about other ones today that I feel the same way about, that I just don't think that they need to be made. Like, I don't think that there was this large clamoring for a Gran Turismo movie, and I think it's made mostly so that Sony could have a movie that they owned intellectual property over it. Like they had an IP, they were trying to
I agree. I mean, I feel like it's something they just did because they could.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that they needed to or anything like that. But I mean, I did enjoy it.
And do you have the budget?
I can pull that. Give me a sec. Of course, it's not going to tell me.
Because, I wonder if something like that keeps the price down, but, the racing sequences probably aren't cheap. Right?
I just imagine, with all the cars they use and everything. Oh, wow. It's actually not as expensive as I thought. It was $60 million budget.
60 mil's not bad, yeah. And what has it made so far? I mean, so we said it's, where's it in the box office for week 1? Where did it rank?
It's number 1.
It is number 1, okay.
This was a rough weekend for the box office.
$15 million.
17.4 gross.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough week. I mean, this is August. They've ran through all the major releases already. And what has it made so far? Because it's had 3 weeks of exclusive releases and stuff like that.
So worldwide total is 55 mil.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, it's going to end up being pretty much breaking even. So not a loss by any means to Sony. They're definitely still searching for properties that they can make money off of. I don't know.
I think it's also tough when it comes out, right after Barbie and Oppenheimer, and kind of gets shadowed out by that stuff too.
I wonder, and I don't think there's an easy way to find this out. Aside from the Cars animated movies, what racing movies have made the most money?
It's gonna be Fast and Furious.
Well, so I don't include that either because that's not a true racing movie. That's an
anymore,
action franchise. Yeah. I'm more so thinking a racetrack. It's probably the Ford versus Ferrari, right?
Ooh, okay.
I'd have to think is going to be your highest grossing. Oh, I mean Talladega Nights, but again, is that do you include that? I mean that is very heavily built on racing too, so I guess you can include it. So that's probably one of the biggest.
Trying to find a list here, but all it's giving me is best, not highest grossing. It's tough to find a list.
Yeah, so it's just a thought. I wonder where this stacks up, and is that a profitable lane to go in? I don't I think the thing is, if you're going to make movies like this, the thing that sets Ford versus Ferrari apart is it's you knew it was going to have very strong acting performances because of who they cast in the movie. Yeah. Versus this doesn't have David Harbour is not a draw from a box office standpoint. Orlando Bloom playing a supporting role isn't going to draw people in to see this movie. So I think that's what was the expectation for making money? Did they think they were going to have some movie that made $500 million? I can't imagine that they would have. I had to think that they thought it was going to make more than breaking even.
Yeah.
But it's also coming at a time where you can do no promotion for it. It's kind of up against some
and the movie in itself is a promotion for their product, so they can count that to their their return on investment too.
Yeah, I mean, do you think people left the theater and dusted off the Gran Turismo game and played it?
I think there was definitely a few.
Yeah.
I think there was definitely a few people that like watched that movie and were like, "Oh shit, like I have that game at home, like I want to dust it off and play it," or "Oh hey, maybe I have the older one, I want to try the newer one now."
I also wonder if, like, because, F1 is not nearly as popular here. Actually really thinking about it right now, that Drive to Survive series on Netflix, I think it is?
No, I do not.
So there's a whole series on, like, it's a very popular series on, I think it's Netflix, that's about F1. And that has gained popularity in the past 2 to 3 years significantly. And I wonder if that was kind of where the thought process came to putting this out. Is like, hey, this is an audience that's generally European, I think, for who's really into F1, right? And now it's kind of breaking through in the United States. You're seeing a lot more races in Miami. I think they've done some in Chicago where they're like doing like races on like full tracks, kind of. Like building tracks. They even did a street race, I think, in Miami, like around like the streets of Miami or something, where they like cut them off or like.
Well, that's how a lot of the F1 races work in Europe. Like they'll like section off like parts of a city to run those races.
I mean, that's sick. But yeah, I wonder if that was kind of their thought process was like, hey, maybe we can just kind of piggyback on the popularity that it has here. We'll do decent business in the United States, but Europe's what we're really gonna make the extra. Like, we'll break even in the United States, but we'll make money going international. And I just don't think it's worked out that way. So I gave it 3 stars.
Okay.
I thought that was a fair ranking. I actually ranked it fairly high, to be honest.
So it was the higher of the 3 stars.
Yeah, it's I have it ranked 12th year to date for me. I modified the title of my list to say 2023 movie theater movie rankings.
Okay.
Just to be specific, because like I've obviously seen a decent amount of like
streaming
shit. Yeah, exactly. And I just felt like it's a little misleading to just say 2023 movie rankings when I've seen other movies.
Okay.
Anywho, let's move on. I was gonna move on to a different movie, the other movie that you saw, but I think I'm gonna go to that later. I want to talk Blue Beetle, really quickly.
Mexican Black Panther.
Yeah, sorry. Where are we at on me spoiling this?
I still intend to see it, but I'm not bothered by spoilers, so
there's not actually. I don't really like. Here, I'll just give.
You do this every time. Yeah,
I mean, like, because I don't think I like. I don't even know what I would spoil.
You do this literally every time, though. Oh, how much can I spoil? Never mind.
Fuck this movie, dude.
I mean, I knew months ago going into it that was going to be your review.
But it's nice to be vindicated, dude. Like every bit of my opinion on this movie proved to be so accurate in that it is not a terrible movie. It is not like a travesty to have been made or anything of that nature. But it is the biggest bag of fucking nothing that you could ever have for a movie, dude. Like, and I swear to God, there's these people on like Twitter who are like, you're not giving this movie, like, people don't give this movie a fair shot, and like this is a beautiful movie, and like there's just like these moments, and I'm like, dude, suck a dick. Like, these things aren't like there is nothing in this movie that advances the realm of superhero movies, and I don't think that like you necessarily have to task every movie in doing that, but I do think to a point, just don't make it then. If it's not going to be better than average, and this movie at best, I feel much the same way about The Flash, right? You can have differing opinions on The Flash, but I think at the end of the day, if you don't think that The Flash is average at best, you are outright wrong in your opinion. Like, you might think it's like okay and this, that, and the other, but in the pantheon that we have now of superhero movies, these movies are middle of the road or below average. So don't make them. Like, if it's Marvel, I understand it because they have a franchise that they have built and they have to keep that ball rolling, right? So I give them a little bit more leeway. But if you are a DC franchise that is dead, mind you, this is a dead franchise that they're for the 3rd time trying to rebuild. This movie could have just been kicked to the fucking wayside, dude.
I mean, I feel like they see the success of Marvel and they're just grasping at straws.
But then they're missing what made Marvel successful because, again, like, Blue Beetle maybe works if you don't have 8 or 9 other DC movies that have been primarily bad before it. You know, that's where my point comes from on this. Is the same thing as the Flash. The Flash probably never works, but like just for sake of conversation, it maybe works if like nobody was like Iron Man's not the #1 Marvel superhero.
Mm-mm.
I believe when Iron Man was coming out, people were like, "Really, you're gonna make Iron Man?" Like, you know. And Robert Downey Jr. was known as the guy who had like a drug problem and shit, not necessarily as the guy who was like a leading actor. But the movie revolutionized fucking like superhero movies to a point, right? It over exceeded expectations. It overperformed estimations. It was a very good movie for its time, and it still stands up. This movie, maybe if it's the second one in, there's curiosity and there's stuff that draws you in. But there's just like, this is so much nothing in this fucking movie to me that like, it's just, you can see it, and I'm not saying you'll hate it. You'll be like, all right, that was like a fine 2 hours at the movies. I chuckled at this spot, or like this action sequence was okay. Generally, I think there's only one action sequence that I really enjoyed. And it's towards the end, because the issue I had with the action in this movie is it goes back to that superhero issue of kind of quick cuts. So you're not really in the action as much. And to be honest, I think only like Captain America, Shang-Chi definitely, maybe like a Spider-Man have like very good action sequences from like a hand-to-hand combat situation where it's not so much like those, like you can see the action, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus this is again one of those movies where it's like, I punch this guy, he flies across the room going really hard, like flies across the room really like hard or whatever, and then like I hit the other guy, he flies across the room, and it's just all quick cuts jumping around on stuff, and you're like, even like the like not superhero movies, to a point superhero movie, but like Fast and Furious, I think has this problem. And I think that's where like when Paul Walker was still alive, and in like the 5th, 6th, and 7th movies, if you go back and watch those movies, his action sequences to me always stood out amongst a lot of other people's, because you could actually see him performing the fight sequences, you know? So yeah, like I just didn't get drawn in very much by the action. You know, none of the acting performances, they're all serviceable, but none of it's like, wow, I thought that guy stole the show. It's not like, you know, Black Panther, for what it's worth, you know, your biggest comparison on this movie. What was the driving force for the popularity besides like the obviously like the cultural nature of that movie? It's Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Like their performances are so larger than life in those movies and brought their characters so much to life that people are like, dude, you need to see Michael B. Jordan, you know, as Killmonger. You know, there's nobody in this movie that you're like, bro, you need to see homie as Blue Beetle, or you need to see the girl as the rich girl's son or daughter, not son. Or you need to see I can't remember anybody's name in this fucking movie. I will tell you, actually, I take this back. There's one performance that everybody should see.
George Lopez?
Yes.
Oh, really?
He's fucking incredible, dude. I swear to God, we walked into this movie and George Lopez was like the most positive thing. He's great. He's very funny in this movie. I think he's the best part of the fucking thing.
Word.
Again, not terrible, very average. With that being said, I gave it 2.5 stars, I think. Let me just double check. 2.5 stars, and I have it ranked at number 23.
Ew.
Yeah.
Damn.
I only have it ranked in front of a few movies.
I know how long your list is, so yeah.
Yeah. So, take that for what it is, what it's worth, people. Obviously I didn't not enjoy it, but it's like it's a fucking nothing burger. Like you didn't have to do it. Okay, next up. We apparently both saw Strays.
Yes.
I want to hear your opinion
first. So honestly, I didn't see any trailers for this movie. I didn't really know anything about this movie going into it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know until I got there that it was an R-rated comedy. So
I knew what it was about, but I had not, you know, I don't watch trailers really unless I see them before a movie. And I didn't realize how R-rated.
Yeah, it was very funny for me.
Me too.
It had me laughing for pretty much most of the movie. I don't know if you got this from it, but I felt like it was like a R-rated comedy take on Homeward Bound.
Yeah, in a way. In a way, I think like me being a dog owner too, like there is just certain things that they hit on.
Oh
that
yeah,
like if like
Yeah,
I was
dude.
hearing from Bailey's perspective,
dude. There was some shit they said where I was like, "Yo, they
Like-
probably actually think that."
yeah, like their commentary on a dog's perspective is so fucking funny to me. Yeah, dude, this is the best. I mean, out of the two R-rated comedies that came out this summer, this is far better than the Jennifer Lawrence R-rated comedy.
Gotcha.
This movie is very funny, I think. And I think the other real benefit is it's only an hour and a half long. So it doesn't
I actually didn't even realize it was that short.
Yeah, because it kind of flies by, right? Because like
Yeah.
it doesn't try to be something it's not. It doesn't add a 30-minute storyline plot. Excuse me. That like is like you know,
Unnecessary.
just to make it like a more like thoughtful movie or something. It's like, no, this is a movie about a dog with a shitty owner who wants to get back to him just so he can bite his dick off. It's a fucking
Spoiler alert.
hilarious premise. That's who gives a shit. It's an hour and a half comedy. That should be the selling point. If they
Yeah.
didn't tell people that that's what this movie was about beforehand, they did themselves a disservice because the whole premise of him being like, I want to get back to my owner so I can so I can bite his fucking dick off, dude, is so funny. Actually, this is the third R-rated comedy because The Blackening was the other one.
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like, and I think it's better than The Blackening slightly,
Definitely, yeah.
from a comedy perspective. Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx, Isla Fisher, and I forget who the fourth dog was, are all like really good, you know? I like the police dogs, like the interactions with the police dogs I thought were very funny too.
Oh shit, cops.
Them doing like I like spoilers to a point. Like again, I think 100% see this movie. Even if we spoil something, we're not going to spoil jokes because I don't do a good job of remembering lines from movies.
Yeah.
I can just remember names of people for whatever reason and years that the movies came out.
The fourth one you were thinking of was Randall Park.
Yeah, okay, and he's very funny too.
Yeah.
But like when they take the mushrooms,
Oh,
yo, when they take the mushrooms and wake up from it, because like bro, like, and I think you know this with Bailey. Like if I give Bailey a stuffed animal,
Yeah.
she guts that fucking thing like a pig. She has it for 30 seconds, and you can get those toys that say they're indestructible, and she finds the seams and just starts like nibbling at them till they fall apart, and then the guts are everywhere. They take mushrooms in this fucking movie, and they think that they're in the like the woods, and there's these bunnies, and they just see them as fucking stuffed animals. And when they come to, it is so funny to me.
Like, we're not saying shit.
Like, holy shit, man, that movie is it. Yeah, like that movie exceeded my expectations so much. I'm not like, again, don't really go into a movie like that with expectations either. But that's a very much a recommend for me this summer, as far as one of the positive lights. With that being said,
It's always risky when it's like I don't want to say, well, you know what? I'm going to say it. Like, it's risky when it's a dumb movie like that, you know what I mean? Like, where it really leans on, like, the kind of, like, goofy kind of style of comedy.
Yeah, but I think they did a good job, even though it doesn't have, like, these, like, subplots of, like, there's really only one major subplot, and it's with Jamie Foxx's dog to a point, and, like, his relationship to humans, right?
Yeah.
But, like, what you have to do is, like, those four dogs, like, even though they're not human beings, like, there is a certain camaraderie that I think you can feel, and you grow attached to, like, you like those characters, right? You like the way they interact with each other, and, like, I think that gets you more bought into the movie, on top of the fact that they're able to make funny jokes. And from a perspective that, like, it's not just like, dude, not anybody can make The Hangover, because there's not been a movie like The Hangover that's been that successful. Like, there's movies that have tried, you know, or like Superbad, or like these like iconic R-rated comedies, right? To me, like, this isn't going to be up there in like the list of those movies, but to a point, it took like an idea that I think is outside of the box and executed it very strongly. And kind of going back to what I was saying about Blue Beetle, where it's like, if you're not going to bring something outside of the box, if you're not going to do something unique, and I'm not telling you to revolutionize like the superhero genre or change the world as far as movies are concerned, but there has to be something unique to the movie at this point if you're trying to launch a superhero franchise. I think like at this point with R-rated comedies, we've seen, and the reason we did this whole list like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whatever it was before the Jennifer Lawrence one, about like how R-rated comedies have performed in the past however many years.
Yeah.
And like I don't even know if this has performed tremendously well or not. I haven't paid too much attention, to be honest, on that front. But I think that this movie did it the right way as far as having a unique idea, being funny. I think Will Ferrell, this is one of his funnier things I've had him do in years now, too.
Yeah, I give you that.
We didn't do box office for Blue Beetle or for Strays yet, so if you could just get those for me. I know Blue Beetle dropped, I want to say 50 to 60% this week. In 51%, week 2.
Yeah. Blue Beetle came in this weekend at 12 mil.
How much gross overall?
Gross domestic 45, 81 worldwide.
And budget was?
Budget was crap. Sorry.
There you go.
104.
So they're not going to make it.
No. Because what they have to, your rule was they have to double it to be profitable.
Yeah, I mean, so if 105, they're probably budgeted around 150, 160, and they're only at 120 so far through 2 weeks, and they're only going to go down in terms of what they're making right now. So yeah, they're not making money. Strays?
Strays had
budget was 45 mil. I just saw that.
Yep, 46 mil. They this weekend did 4.9 mil.
Overall.
Overall, they're at 16 domestic, 21 worldwide.
I mean, not good enough, right?
No,
like,
they're hurting.
But again, like this isn't a movie that I think this was gonna draw in a niche audience no matter what. And if anything, I imagine they're banking on word of mouth. And when you don't have the ability to have Will Ferrell doing like a press roll, you know, to get out and go talk about this movie, it probably like, because you have to figure this movie's gonna break even, basically on no promotion. Right.
That's true, yeah.
And I think Will Ferrell is amongst one of those guys that is supremely likable in real life. Real life is like a, you know, I don't know how accurate that is because we don't see him in real life, but like his Ferrell
presence outside of the movies.
Yes, yeah. Like Will Ferrell, like if he had popped up on like, I think he's done Hot Ones before, but like, you know, shows like that. And you or him and Jamie Foxx are able to go out and do some stuff like together, and you see their chemistry, and it gets you interested in seeing this movie. And just you see it popping up in your like feed a little bit more, like, oh, Will Ferrell has a movie coming out.
Yeah,
I think this movie ends up doing another 20 million maybe, and all of a sudden they have a financial success. And who knows, maybe you even end up getting like a Strays 2 or something like that at some point. Not that I think you necessarily have to do that, because like you have a good thing. Why fuck that up? Also,
yeah, I don't think this needs a part 2, but I also agree with you where if they had the ability to do the promotion on this probably would have at least doubled its profits.
Yeah, because and then you build on word of mouth. Like shit, you saw that like that Will Ferrell movie that's coming out, and they're like, oh yeah, Strays, like, is it any good? And then you're like, dude, it's like super fucking funny, whatever it is, and like that gets somebody to go check it out.
Yeah, I guess that's the tough part is like even after it's out, like nobody's actually talking about it, so it doesn't get the success it deserves.
Yeah, there's just nothing like trailing off. Like that's definitely not something that's getting any promotion. And to give Blue Beetle a little bit of like pass here too, like you know, George Lopez doesn't come out for a lot of movies, and if you have him available to do more of the talk shows and things like that, is he gonna be able to like boost the number? Like, I'm not saying he's gonna boost 20 million on top George Lopez, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah. It's just there's no visibility for these movies right now on like a YouTube, outside of their trailers to get promotion. And I think YouTube is like for movie industry right now where a lot of their interviews go to. Like, people aren't going to the Tonight Show. There's a small population of it, but like that's not where you're promoting your movies to get people to see it so much as it's going on the YouTube run and doing a million different shows.
And I mean, even going off of that, right? Like a lot of people love the Cobra Kai series, and I think if Zolo could have came out and did a few interviews or appearances and stuff, like people would have trailed more towards this movie too. Mm-hmm.
And let people know more about like the heart of the movie a little bit more than just like the trailer's action sequences or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So for ranking this movie real quick, I gave this one, I believe, also 3 stars.
Okay.
And I ranked it at 13. So I have it in Gran Turismo basically at the same spot. Two different, very different movies, so it's kind of hard to rank like those types of things up against each other to say.
You're basically ranking based on your enjoyment.
Yeah, well, and I think I enjoyed them the same. you know, so
Okay.
I wouldn't take too much into that because I have The Blackening at 14. And I think that I can't watch back a few weeks ago. I really enjoyed that movie too. So this isn't saying like it's middle of the road. This is definitely a recommend. And we have I rather have 2 movies left that I have also seen the movies at the theaters. I told you this last night, Dante, but I'll say it on here. I had this like moment where so I've been working 9 to 5 on Mondays a lot recently. So I've been leaving the movies or leaving work and seeing if there's like a movie I haven't seen that starts at like
catch
6
something
or
on
something.
the way home.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, I'm out early. Even if I go see a movie right now, I'm home by 8. Like, I just don't like seeing movies at like 8 or 9 o'clock very much anymore.
Especially since they're all 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get home that late.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't want to get home at 11, 11:30. I still, like, I'm essentially at that point just eating popcorn for dinner, you know, like, but like, if I can catch one at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock on a Monday when I'm leaving work, like, if it's something I'm interested, even if I'm moderately interested in, I'll try and catch it, right? And funny enough, I said I don't want to see movies at night. I think I did see like one random night one of these movies, but it's only like an hour and a half long. So I was like, all right, that's not offensively long. I can just get in there, see it, and get out. So I saw 2 horror movies since the last time we potted.
Okay.
One of them is super acclaimed, and everybody loves it. And it's made the largest, it's made the most amount of money for its production company of any movie they've ever put out. And the other movie is not like that. Which one did I enjoy more?
I think you enjoyed the one that wasn't as successful.
Ding, ding, ding. So I saw Talk to Me. And Talk to Me is up to $45 million, I think, right now. I don't know if that's domestic or worldwide.
I have 41 domestic, 52 worldwide.
I think it only costs $5 million to make.
Seriously?
And it's A24's
Yep.
most profitable movie that they've ever come out with. 4.5 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's great.
So no, I mean, awesome for them. They and it's like one of these things this is another thing we've talked about on here though, right? Horror movies have this ability to become very successful. That's why you see The Conjuring and
Well, I see that most of these movies are a super low budget.
Yeah, like they don't cost a crazy amount. But so Talk to Me, everybody loves this movie. Pull up Cinema Score for me. Rotten Tomatoes and audience score.
Yeah.
This movie is like every person I've talked to is like, it's incredible. Somebody before I saw this movie was like, dude, it's like one of the best horror movie I've seen in years. Yada yada yada. Yeah, tell them the score.
94% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is fucking insane for a horror movie. And 82% audience score. Gotta get this fucking bottle out of here. I like knocked it off the table, like, and didn't throw it away.
I haven't emptied that trash in like 3 months. For whatever reason, dude, it didn't talk to me.
I see what you did there.
Do you know what this is about?
I mean, I've seen the trailer, so I get like the whole thing of like it's basically like a seance with the little hand statue thing.
Yeah, so it's like take the idea of like a Ouija board, but instead of a Ouija board, it's this hand, and you hold it and you say "talk to me," and it like, and you say like something like "let me in" or something like that. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. And it like syncs you with some spirit, you know.
Okay.
And it starts coming through the person, but you can only stay in for like a minute and a half, or it does like serious damage to you. Fuck it, spoilers. I'm gonna give the whole premise away.
Yeah, bitch.
And again, I don't know what, like, I think part of the problem with me saying spoilers, Dante, is since I don't watch trailers. Like, we've had this happen in the past where you're like, oh yeah, they showed that in the trailer.
Yeah,
and
true.
I'm like, oh, okay, it's not a spoiler. Like, even in Blue Beetle, I didn't know that the grandmother thing is in the trailer. One of the funnier parts of the movie, like with her with
when
like
she grabs the gun.
The gun.
Yeah.
So in this,
well, I mean, you said it in the past too. Like, trailers are spoilers in themselves. Anyways.
Hence why I don't watch them, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I don't want to have major parts of the movie spoiled for me. So in this, like, it's about a movie about grief. It's this girl who loses her mother, who kills herself. Or you think that she killed herself, but like it's one of those things where it's like everybody perceives her as being happy, doesn't understand why she would have done it. And these people have this hand, and they start these kids start fucking around. Like they film all this fucked up stuff, and they start filming when people do this thing with the hand, and they like release it online. It goes viral. they keep playing around with the hand because it's like almost like these kids are like getting high off of this, like everybody else is laughing at it, and like it grows and grows and grows. So eventually, like the main girl there, that one on the screen there,
Yep.
she like lives kind of like her best friend. She stays at her house a lot, and she stays like there's a little brother who's however old. He wants to do the thing with the hand, and the sister is like no, 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 and that girl is like just let him do it, like it'll be fun, like whatever, like it's not a big deal, like we've all done it, we've been okay. When he holds the hand, her mother comes through. And so she realizes she's talking to the mother and doesn't get him out in the time that she should. Right? And it kind of sets off the chain of events for the rest of the movie.
Gotcha.
I think my main issue is like I don't find this movie to be scary. There's only one really like fucked up part, and it's literally when he stays in too long in the thing inside of him, right? Starts like taking control of him, and he starts smashing his fucking head off of the table in front of him. And like those types of things are so brutal that it's like cringy, and you're like you have to kind of look away, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's like, but that's not scary. Like that's brutal. Like it's like those are cringy. Like that's not a scary premise. There's like everything else is kind of just jump scares. So yeah, like I just don't. It's not my type of horror movie either, admittedly. So like that could be partially where I'm like it's just not my thing so much. Like I've always said on here, my horror movie genres are primarily slashers. It's not possession movies.
And I think I'm in that camp too.
So, I like the ending. Like it's a pretty climactic ending. It's gonna get a sequel. But yeah, it's just to me, if you're into like the Conjuring and some of those other movies, I think you'll like it. It didn't really resonate to me, like the grief story that they're telling, and like there is some like sad shit towards the end of it. But I ranked it pretty lowly, man. Like low. And I actually think I could have gone lower than I did. I think I'm just saying it's low because of where it ranks on my list. But I gave it 2.5 stars. I think that's like polite for like how I felt leaving it. I just didn't care. Yeah. But it's ranked 24th. Damn. So it's really low on the list.
So the only thing behind it is Kandahar and 65?
And Quantumania.
Okay.
I put Quantumania. Do you think, can we have this discussion real quick? I have Blue Beetle in front of so did I give my ranking for Blue Beetle? I didn't.
I know you gave us the stars. I don't think you told us where it ranked.
23.
Okay. You might have said that actually.
So if anybody sees Blue Beetle, they'll be like, wow, it's a lot like Quantumania. You haven't seen it.
I haven't seen either.
Oh, you haven't seen Quantumania either, so I can even ask you the question. I'd be interested to anybody who's seen Quantumania and had seen Blue Beetle, that am I fair in saying that Blue Beetle is slightly better than Quantumania? The other movie that I saw, the other horror-esque movie that I saw, is The Voyage of the Last Demeter. And so, overall, I think what I really...
Just to correct you, it's The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Instead of The Voyage of the Last Demeter. The Last Voyage... So, the Demeter, that makes sense, because the Demeter is the name of the boat. And you don't know what this is about, right?
Nope.
Okay. I'm going to give the plot. I don't think I'm going to spoil anything with it. So basically, there's a boat that's taking off from near, like, I want to say it's near Transylvania. They don't say Transylvania, but they say like my country, like, or my town or whatever, a bunch in the movie.
Carpathia.
Okay. It's taking off from there, and it's a boat that's transporting stuff to England.
Yep. And
they're loading everything on, and there's this black dude, and he's trying to get to England because he went to maybe Oxford or something, and he's a doctor, but he can't get a job anywhere because it's based a million years ago and he's black, so they won't give him a job. He tries to get on the ship. They say no. He ends up saving the captain's son or grandson, and somebody else quits because they see an emblem on one of the things that's going on the boat, and he's like, I know what that emblem means. You guys are all fucking idiots for going on this boat. I'm not doing it. So they need another deckhand. This guy saved saved the kid's life. So they're like, all right, we'll let you come on, basically.
Okay.
It ends up being that what they're transporting from wherever that country is that you said to England is Dracula. And it's Dracula and it's a girl. And the girl is kind of the one who's filling you in on the backstory throughout this. Because basically they find her almost dead in one of the boxes that they're transporting. And for whatever reason, they don't go through all the other boxes, and they treat her as if she's a stowaway. And she explains that, like, basically she's in her country, and there's an agreement with this person who's in her country that looks like a man but isn't a man, and he kills people there. And he's basically run through all of the people that he could kill that, like, because of the agreement that he had there, and now he's going to feast somewhere else. And that's why he's traveling now from there to London. Because London, there's this whole plethora of people, like this very large population that he can work through. And they realize, like, you know, every night on the ship that shit's getting, like, weird. And then people start dying. And it's just, you slowly unravel. And I think the thing that I most like about this movie is that premise. Like, I think that that's a really interesting premise that, like, so now this isn't when you had cell phones. There's no way to notify London that you're coming, right? And that you have this thing on board that's killing you. And they're in the middle of the ocean and they're realizing that they have fucking Dracula on the boat with them. But they don't really understand what that means, you know? Like, they don't believe the girl in what she's telling her. And they just think that they're dealing with something normal. And you just have to, like, every night they have to work through trying to stay alive from Dracula. I think it's just a very interesting premise. The negative I would say is I wish that there was a bit more to the kill scenes in it. Like, it's a lot of, like, he moves very fast, he's able to, like, jump on you and then just kind of bites you type deal, you know?
Oh, so it's just like quick flashes, jump scare, over.
Yeah, you don't get so they do a good job of the build up to him killing, you know, because they're out on a boat, the middle of the ocean. There is some good scenes in it, actually. There's a scene with the little kid that's on the boat with him that's really good. You know, and maybe in retrospect I'm being a little hard. There was just a few of them that felt lackluster, and there was a few sequences that felt really good. Building up to, like, the final sequence of the movie. This is probably the horror movie. Let me look real quick. What other horror movies have I seen this summer? So I saw Talk to Me, Demeter. That's the only two that I think came out this summer.
Scream 6.
Oh, Scream 6. Okay. I say summer, but this year.
Yeah.
So Scream 6, I have ranked higher, but, like, more nostalgia and not as much horror related.
It's
I
also
feel like
your genre.
Yeah, exactly. This is close to my genre though. Like, I think that you'd enjoy this kind of horror movie if you're, like, into slasher horror.
Yeah.
Like, this is closer to home on what we're interested in.
Okay.
So I have it ranked. It's another 3-star movie. Like, I've said this before on here, dude. My major issue with this app is not having a more refined ranking system. We should build a website.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah, we can.
Are we capable of doing that?
Yeah, definitely. Websites are cheap. It's cheap to get a URL.
We should build a website. For those with good taste.com. I just, like, because 5 stars is very hard to have any type of differentiation, because you don't, like, I don't want anything to be a 5-star movie, right? So then it really means 4.5 ends up being the best, and everything ends up being 3 and 2.5 stars. And to me, like, something that far exceeds expectation gets to your 3.5. So I haven't this year I have Mission Impossible is 4 stars. John Wick 4 stars. Guardians 3.5 stars. I might have to bump that up. Covenant 3.5 stars. And then I gave Indy 3.5. I could always jump that down. I gave 3.5 to the Meg 2. 3.5 to Transformers. I maybe overrank some stuff, dude. Like, just on, but again, personal preference, right? Not like actual critical. I want to be clear. If I make a website here, it's personal preference.
It's
It-
Lenny's list. It's not any sort of like critics.
It's not a critical review, right? It's just like it's personal preference type stuff. So I have, out of the 27 movies I've seen, I have 7 that are 3.5 stars or higher. So that means almost all of these movies are 3 stars. Because it's like, what do you call an average movie other than when you have a 5-star ranking system, other than to just say it's 3 stars?
Yeah. Right?
Versus being able to say 5.2 or giving a percentage or whatever it is that you're going to give to really differentiate the level of enjoyment that you had on these movies. And I guess that's where ranking it comes through. But yeah, so I gave it 3 stars. I ranked it at 18th on my list. Just behind No Hard Feelings and above things like The Flash, Dungeons and Dragons, Shazam, Creed, and Blue Beetle. And again, I would recommend it. I especially enjoyed the last act. I thought that was fun. Like as Dracula gets stronger and everything. It's even really smart, and this will probably be the biggest spoiler I would give from this movie in terms of the way they play out the last third of the movie. Is it takes like say 7 days to get from where they're going to London, right? And they have this idea in their head that he is like beatable, and the girl tells them like as they're getting to the last part of the trip that like it's like the last night before they're gonna get to London the next day, and she's like, he isn't not killing us because he can't. He's been killing us to budget. Because like if he had have killed them all on the first night,
he would have starved.
Because there's no way for him to get food. So he could have killed them at any time, but he was picking them off day by day to ration his food for when he gets to London. So the last night, they're like, dude, like, you know, like he's only been taking X amount of people. He's like, no, he's going to kill everybody because he doesn't need us anymore. We were just his food supply to get across the ocean.
Shit.
Like that's a very cool, like smart premise.
Yeah.
And that's where I think to me the big selling point on this movie isn't so much some of the actual action sequences, so to speak. It's more so the premise that sells me on this movie. I love the idea of like Dracula needing to get to a new place to feed, so he wants to go to a major city. And then these people on board slowly realizing what they have on board with them, and then if they let him get to London, he'll literally kill everybody.
So it's a horror movie with a stable plot, which is rare, I feel like.
Yeah. It's that's the biggest selling point to me. What was the name of the black dude? He's
Corey Hawkins.
Yeah. So can you just click what he's on in real quick? He was in The Walking Dead briefly. He played in the 24 remake. He was in that, and he played Eazy-E. That's what I was trying to remember.
Straight Outta Compton. Yeah.
Yeah, he played Eazy-E. He's in Kong Skull Island, and he's in Black Klansman. He's been in a decent amount of really good movies. Yeah. Cool. All right, so that's it for movies that we've got. I mean, like we ran through the whole fucking gauntlet today, in all genres, which I think is fun too. Like it wasn't like just action movie. Like I like the one thing I'll say about August is it's been the most versatile month for the movies that I've been able to see.
Fair.
Comedy, action, and horror. I was able to get a little bit of everything I enjoy there, which I feel like the summer outside of that has been primarily action movies, which it generally is, but like it's been a nice change of pace, even though they have been mixed in terms of quality, you know? So let's get into briefly like what else we've been watching outside of the movie theaters. What do you have? Do you have anything going on? Do you watch anything on the flight there or back?
So I got, I think 5 episodes in on Heels.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
So far I actually like it a lot.
Yeah, like and you're not a wrestling fan.
No, not a wrestling fan at all, but I do like the drama behind it.
And that's kind of what I was saying, right? For like kind of gives you the idea of what it's like politically in a wrestling world, and then like the infighting between the brothers is interesting.
And also like the different like beefs between the different like wrestling organizations, and you know how they put on this huge show, but they're not fucking drowning in cash. Like they're actually struggling, and like watching how they play all that out to keep it going.
Yeah, they're just trying to stay afloat, really.
Yeah. No, I'd say that show's very intriguing.
Yeah, I got the password from you a while ago, and I haven't watched it because they're 5 episodes in on season 2 right now, and it's a 8-episode season. So I'm going to, I think I'm just going to wait 3 more weeks and catch, like, just binge watch all 8 episodes of season 2. Because
Okay.
I think it's only 8 episodes in season 1.
I think you're accurate.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So you're I think honestly, and I really enjoy like
Yeah.
so you got to the point what did you think of him screwing his brother?
I understand why he did it. Like his brother's kind of a wild card, right? So like
Are you team Amel or are you team the other guy?
I'm team Amel.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you got it, right? Like but you also understand on the brother side where he feels like betrayed and like kind of fucks their relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I see, but like also it's like, I got this whole story written out. I'm setting it up to keep suspense and keep the audience intrigued, and then you just want to come out and fuck the story up because of your ego.
Yeah. But and I don't remember where you're at right now as far as like what type of stuff is like where they're at in explaining the story more. Because I don't want to spoil anything for you if you're gonna keep watching it.
Yeah, I am gonna keep watching it. I'm basically up to the point where they just had the big show to try and land the Georgia State Fair.
So where's their relationship at, the brothers? Are they still very good? Like
So
what?
they're still not good.
Yeah. What else has happened besides him screwing him over in that main event with them? I know he had the drug thing, like right after it, right?
It was
There's
also
just some like other major things that happened between their relationship that
because
I can't remember if it's in the last couple episodes
because like now the girl is like
with somebody else.
with somebody else, yeah, and so he gets a new girl, and then Stephen Amell's character tries to like write it into the story, but then they just fucking throw it all up in the air and fucking everything goes sideways.
Yeah, so you saw that he fucked that dude up.
Yeah,
That was fucked up.
yeah,
That part's very fucked up.
yeah. Especially the fact that like you see the bone sticking out, but I guess from the crowd they can't see that, so like they're just all like, "Oh, it's part of the show."
Yeah, it's very much not. Yeah, like that part's pretty fucked up. Like that's going into business for your own. Yeah, like that.
Like I remember there was one point they were like, "Oh my god, it's so believable," and I'm like, "Fuck."
That guy is such a saint. The guy that she's like with now.
Yeah.
For not like he's so nice about that whole fucking thing. There's a big twist like more not a big twist, but there's some big stuff coming as far as like continuing to show that what's happening between their relationships that you don't know yet.
I love the complexity of their relationships.
Yeah.
Like
So
everybody's got some sort of beef, and it plays really well.
yeah, I think it's taking like wrestling and it gives it a really good dramatic backstory to it. I think I again like
Which I mean,
really
wrestling
enjoyed it.
already is a dramatic backstory, but I
Mhm.
like the whole behind the scenes aspect of it.
Yeah. Anything else?
I also
saw you look
watched-
up Gal Gadot.
Yeah, because there's a Netflix movie she had that I watched,
Oh,
Heart of Stone.
Yeah, you watched that.
I did watch it.
I haven't watched it.
It's all right.
I heard bad reviews on it. Not that I buy that shit, but like Netflix movies aren't generally great anyway. So then if you give bad reviews on them, I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, it's very much a Netflix movie. Like, it's nothing crazy. Like, oh my god, you have to go see this. But I enjoyed it. It was one of those like mindless action movies you get to watch. I also I typically enjoy action movies with like a female leading role.
yeah,
So like it gave me a lot of
you're
like that.
very
like,
progressive in that.
but like it was similar to like Salt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like reminiscent of that.
Never seen it.
Never seen it? No.
I know what it is, but yeah, never watched it.
Also,
I'm
like,
not progressive.
J-Lo had like a movie
Enough.
where she was a fucking spy or some shit on Netflix last year.
You talk about enough? No, I know which movie you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of falls in that camp. Maybe not as good as Salt, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it was enjoyable. I liked it.
I watched a Netflix movie.
Yeah, what'd you watch?
The remake or reboot or retelling of Riverwild, the Riverwild. I watched that like 2 nights ago. It's very much just a Netflix movie. Adam Brody is good in it. Leighton Meester's pretty good in it as well. I wanted to actually rewatch the original before I watched it, and I didn't because I don't think the original plays in at all to what this movie's about, really. But I have to go rewatch the originals with Kevin Bacon in it. But it's fine. It's like again, it's like you said, it's just a Netflix movie. Like,
Yeah.
if you're looking for something to watch and you have a Netflix subscription and it's like a random night of the week and you want to just throw something on, like, it's definitely something to toss on, and it's only like an hour and a half long. Again, like, it's not an offensively long movie, so worth watching. Do you watch anything else?
I'm maybe 15 years late on this, but I am now a Jersey Shore fan.
You're a Jersey head.
I'm a meatball.
GTL, dude. Gym tan laundry.
Yeah. I'm not doing any tanning. Don't need it.
No.
But not any gym either, and I do need that. So
yeah, you'll be both, brother. He ain't doing laundry either. I can smell you, bitch.
Hey, bro, nah, come on, stop playing, yo. Just did laundry like 3 days ago. Yeah, nah, I'm watching the spin-off series, the Family Vacation stuff, and I'm enjoying that.
Who's your favorite character?
Pauly D.
Yeah, Pauly and Vinny are always the best on there.
Oh yeah,
because they're just like, they just seem like normal ass dudes who just
and,
are like
just their
chaos.
Relationship is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they're boys. Like, yeah, like, they're definitely. I think anybody who watches that show, like I guess any guys that watch it, like Ronnie's not very relatable. You know, like,
but we all know a Ronnie, so that's what makes his character interesting.
Mm-hmm. And like Mike is funny, but like nobody like I just think that Vinny and Pauly come off as like relatable people.
Yeah, definitely. Fun fact: I've met Pauly D before.
At a club or something.
I used to work at a bar, and he DJ'd at the bar one time.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, pretty down to earth, chill dude.
Cool. I see you looked up a movie.
Yeah, because this was actually another Netflix movie I watched. It was a kind of thriller movie. Not good at all, but I watched it, so I'll tell you guys. In it? Let's see. Let me pull up the cast. Kate Bosworth.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I knew this came out and it looked bad.
Yeah, no, it's not good. I don't even recommend watching it. It was just one of those, like, you know, we were up at night, wanted to watch a horror movie. It looked interesting. It wasn't. It wasn't even scary.
No, I mean, I think it's tough for movies to be scary when you don't see them in a movie theater.
I guess, yeah, no. The you lose a level of immersiveness.
Yeah, and maybe it's like, or I might also just be thinking from watching like by yourself perspective too, versus watching like
when you crowd reactions.
Yeah, when you watch with like a couple people and you're all locked in, instead of like when you're by yourself, you have too much time where you can pull your phone out and like distract yourself from really immersing into like what the tension of the movie, you know?
Yeah.
So I do think that can be part of it as well.
Fair.
But that's a don't watch.
That's a don't watch.
Okay.
And you said I like every movie. Here's one I didn't.
Cool. All right. Keep going. We got anything else?
I don't think I have anything else now.
Okay. My list isn't tremendously long either. Really quick, I watched a show on Netflix that I would recommend taking a look at. I'm not all the way through it yet. It's only 7 episodes. It's a limited series release. I've watched 3, I think, so far. It's called Who Is Erin Carter? And she's currently, like, what you know about her is she's a British teacher working in Spain. In the very first 10 minutes of the first episode, she's with her daughter and they stop at a convenience store, and the convenience store is getting robbed. Not Erin. It's not Who Is Erin Carter.
Because immediately you said Who Is Erin Carter, and I was like, oh, the motherfucker that's saying I want candy.
No, Erin, not Erin.
Okay. I was like, why would they make a movie about him? Okay.
So she's in a convenience store with her daughter when they realize that it's being held up at gunpoint, and one of the guys tries attacking her, and she beats the shit out of him and accidentally kills him. And when he realizes who she is, and then he's like, it's you. And another one of the gunmen comes into the hall, aisle, and they shoot back and forth at each other really quickly, and they also recognize him. So you're like, there's something more at play here, but you don't really know what. And from there, you kind of start to unravel the story a little bit, but things keep falling apart for her because she's trying to lead a normal life and get a job as a full-time teacher. And it just isn't really working. She keeps not accidentally, but she just the people from her past start coming back, and you don't know exactly, I still don't know what her past actually is, but it's not good. And she like accidentally kills somebody else, and like who attacks her, and
Jesus
then
Christ.
she is like her husband's boyfriend is a cop, I believe it is, and he knows what's going, like he knows what happens, but helping cover it up, because it's his best friend's wife, and he asks her to do something for him, and it leads to them getting lumped in with like a cartel issue too. So it's like it's good. It's only 7
Sounds
episodes
interesting.
long. It's a fun show so far. So yeah, like if
It's a show. Okay.
it's a 7 episode limited series.
Okay.
It's good.
Huh.
I'm gonna finish it for sure. The other thing, this has been a month long running bit for me. It's not a bit, but like, I'm running through the whole Walking Dead gambit. So I finished the main series. I finished Dead Island or Dead City, and I am up to date now on Fear the Walking Dead, which is a show that I've historically struggled to get through. I'll get through like a season, get bored, stop watching. I started at season 4, and I'm all the way up to season 8.5 right now. Season 8 is the final season of the show.
Would you say it's more digestible for you now because you're so deep into the Walking Dead universe?
That, and it's just like, it's funny. I looked up while I was watching season 4, like a ranking of like what are the best Walking Dead seasons, Fear the Walking Dead seasons, and like all the middle seasons are all like super low ranked. And I enjoyed it because to the point where at like the end of season 5, Dante, they drop a fucking nuke. They drop fucking nukes on the West Coast.
Shout out to Oppie.
Or Texas rather, not the West Coast. But like
Damn.
and it like completely overhauls like what you know about, like, because the universe of The Walking Dead, you kind of get it, to a point.
Yeah.
But now they have to deal with, on top of zombies, radiation, and not being able to travel without masks, and now the food and everything is even more limited in its resources, and like the places that you can stay that are inhabitable and don't have radiation issues are very limited, and it's a whole new level of conflict. And I just thought that was like a fun like twist and a spin. And then I think I got invested more into the characters this time around. I really like Alicia, who's like the main girl on the show. Morgan is good too, but Alicia's definitely the standout for me. Victor Strand also is awesome on that show. Like what they've done with his character, where it's like slowly, he's always been a guy who's very driven by himself, who has moments where he falls in line of like, yeah, we should try to do something better, and I can be a better version of myself. But then when the chips are down or like the cards are on the table and like his backs up against the wall, all those cliches, he generally goes with the side of survival, and this leads to him in like season 7 being like one of the main villains, because it gets to this point where he has chose himself over the group so many times that it draws this line down the middle between the group of survivors you've been with this whole time, and he's on the other side. So like his villain turn, I think in season 10 or season 7 rather, was very, very good. Season 8 brings back a character that hasn't been on the show for like 4 seasons, so like that's a new interesting little twist. And they did what The Walking Dead did, where they time jump. The only bummer in all of this is I thought that I was watching a show that's completed, and it's actually not. It's only halfway through season 8, and they're taking a break, and they're coming back in late October. So now I have to wait.
Now there's so much shit for you to wait and catch up on.
Yeah, so I have to wait like 6 weeks, 7 weeks before the show starts to get. You're like double checking my math?
No?
Okay, I thought you were looking at the date.
Do you want me to?
No, I know I'm pretty correct on it. Yeah, so they basically, like, I have to wait to get the whole like last like 7 episodes or so. I have to wait a few weeks. So that kind of sucks. But what I've done in the meantime is I'm watching The Walking Dead World Beyond, which I had watched the first season when it was on real time. We actually talked about that show early days on this podcast, me and Matt. And I enjoyed it, but I'm back rewatching the first season. It's a 2-season limited show for The Walking Dead, and next week starts the Daryl Dixon spinoff. So I have enough Walking Dead to ideally hold me over as I get there.
OD on Walking Dead.
No, yeah, because like they've got me in this thing now where the Daryl Dixon show is going to be on, Fear the Walking Dead's going to be ending, and then 2024 you're starting the Rick show. So we'll see where all that stuff goes. I think that's primarily what I've got.
There was actually one thing I missed on what I've been watching.
What is that?
There was a movie I watched. What's your opinion on Shutter Island?
I saw it only in the theaters. I predicted the ending before it happened. It's a fine movie.
Yeah, I didn't care for it much.
No.
It's my first time watching it, but yeah, I didn't care for it much.
It's another one of those Leo movies. You know.
Yeah.
It's just him and Mark Ruffalo, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're both good. Like, I think the acting is.
I don't have an issue
strong.
with the acting of it. The
movie was just whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I mostly felt the same. It's a movie that people love.
So I know. I mean, I ended up watching it because somebody was like, "Oh, like you want to watch a horror movie? Like, oh, you got to watch this one." And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah, I remember it being very acclaimed when it was in the movie.
Yeah.
I know I had I've seen. I mean, it's been 2 weeks, so I think I've watched other stuff too, but I just can't think of it right now. And we got a whole other podcast to do next week too. I know there's a whole list of stuff there was a whole list we wanted to go through today, but we're almost we're over an hour and a half in.
Yeah.
We're probably at our end point here. This has been fun though, dude. It's nice taking 2 weeks away and coming back.
Hey man, honestly, I missed this, so
yeah,
it's good to be back.
Sometimes it's real bore to talk to you. This week,
wow, ouch.
This week was good.
I get it, man. I'm not a conversationalist. I'm an introvert.
I'm fucking with you, dude.
No, I get it. You hate me. That's cool. Now I'm gonna go home and cry about it,
dude. So I've been streaming, and it's been going pretty well so far. I've been generally streaming on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I think I want to start doing another podcast, possibly.
Like a live podcast?
No. And not like a regular podcast, not one that like a weekly thing.
Okay.
But I think so. I've been streaming WWE 2K23.
Yep.
And I've talked about it on here. I used to talk about wrestling a lot more, as the fans from Nicaragua would know.
They ain't hearing us no more because we ain't been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten away from my roots a little bit, and it's not that I don't watch and that I don't love it, but through playing 2K23, we've been getting some traction on that front. Like, wrestling fans have been kind of showing up, and it's kind of crazy how this works with that stuff, man, because the people who are showing up are all from like Europe and stuff like that. Like, I'm talking to people from like other parts of the world. It's kind of cool.
Interesting. That part was always difficult for me when streaming, is like interacting with the chat. Again, like, conversation doesn't come very easy to me, and then on top of that, in the middle of I'm like trying to play a game, and now I got to break my focus and see what they're saying.
Well, I think that's the difference too. Is like you're racing when you're streaming most of the time too, so it's a little bit more concentration heavy. Whereas like me, I'm playing GM mode, so I'm not actually playing the game. I'm building out match cards. I'm building out storyline shit, trying to beat other GMs to have the best shows. So it's really easy for me to interact with people on it at the same time. But like, with that being said, it's also just like, that people start asking me wrestling questions, and it's something I do like talking about, but like, you don't impose those things on people who aren't also interested in wrestling, Yeah,
because then it can come off as like annoying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I understand that it's like a niche thing and it's not everybody's thing, But what I think I want to start doing is, before big events, I think I want to start doing some preview podcasts.
Podcast?
Yeah, so like going through like whatever the big pay-per-view is coming up that weekend. Maybe some predictions, maybe some talking about like storylines building up to that point, some of the behind the scenes stuff that's happening as far as topical news in wrestling, and it won't be like a weekly thing. I want to try and loop somebody else in on this one.
Okay.
Because you're obviously probably going to be there, but you're not watching on a weekly basis, and you don't follow.
Yeah, I'd definitely be more on the production side of things for that.
Yeah, but I think I want to try and loop somebody in on that one. I have some ideas in mind.
Okay.
Gotta just talk to them. And let me know if you guys think that's a good idea out there. Maybe it doesn't even have to be something that's in person. It could always be something that's also done, remotely too.
Yeah.
But yeah, please check that out I generally go live in the afternoons or early evenings on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I might start doing it more, but I found that like the stream that I did like later at night one night didn't do quite as well as doing it in the afternoon did. So I feel like that might just kind of be the time slot that I want to try and stick in. And obviously, like,
I've definitely noticed even with my streams that I get more viewership in the afternoon than at night.
Yeah. So it's like, having like a real job kind of takes away from being able to do 5 streams a week in the middle of the afternoon. So it's like being able to hop on my days off and just kind of do that stuff. And like, obviously it gained some visibility for the channel. So that's good too. So yeah, please check that out. Drop in the chat if you are there. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to check that out, please hit the subscribe button. On the stream today, if you could give us a like, drop a comment, please. As we always say, tell a friend, ask a friend, show a friend your dick. We are everywhere audio podcasts can be found. I'm kind of bored of doing the whole list.
Honestly, just guys, it's gonna be up on the screen.
Cool. I do like saying these nuts though.
I see.
Yeah, that's always fun.
You got that one out of the way.
Yeah, there we go. We're also on YouTube, as you can see here. At For Those with Good Taste on Instagram, at Good Taste Live on Twitter, at FTWGT on TikTok, I think sounds right. And Dante, they can find you. Where's the water dirty?
Dirty Water ENT on YouTube, Dirty Water _ENT on Twitch and Instagram.
Cool. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever your pronouns might be, we are out.
I, they.
Choo-choo train.
Choo-choo train.
We can do it anywhere. Baby, don't be scared. Close down the mall, girl, you just don't know. In front of the police, in front of you and me. And I don't give a damn, that's why they call me Bobby V.
For those with good taste.